The hardest thing in the world is to simplify your life. It's so easy to make it complex. Yvon Chouinard. You have the system. You have the fortress. You have the energy. Now you face the most dangerous enemy of all, yourself. Not your lack of discipline. Not your lack of motivation. Your lack of clarity. You are making decisions every single day. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. Most of them are unnecessary. Most of them are draining you. Most of them are preventing you from doing the work that matters. This chapter is about the decision engine. It is about making better choices faster. It is about reducing the mental friction that slows you down. It is about building filters that separate the signal from the noise. It is about trusting your judgment without being reckless. You cannot afford to deliberate endlessly. You cannot afford to second-guess every choice. You cannot afford to be paralyzed by indecision. You need a system for making decisions. You need a decision engine. The quality of your life is the sum of your decisions. Every choice you make moves you toward your goal or away from it. Every decision is an investment. You are investing your time. You are investing your energy. You are investing your attention. You must invest wisely. This chapter teaches you how. The decision filter principle. You make too many decisions. This is the decision filter principle. It states that you must filter out the trivial decisions so you have energy for the important ones. You must create rules that decide for you. You must automate the mundane. You must delegate the routine. You must eliminate the unnecessary. This is how you free up mental space. This is how you preserve decision-making capacity for what matters. This chapter is about the decision engine. It is about making better choices faster. It is about reducing the mental friction that slows you down. It is about building filters that separate the signal from the noise. It is about trusting your judgment without being reckless. You cannot afford to deliberate endlessly. You cannot afford to second-guess every choice. You cannot afford to be paralyzed by indecision. You need a system for making decisions. You need a decision engine. The quality of your life is the sum of your decisions. Every choice you make moves you toward your goal or away from it. Every decision is an investment. You are investing your time. You are investing your energy. You are investing your attention. You must invest wisely. This chapter teaches you how. The decision filter principle. You make too many decisions. This is the decision filter principle. It states that you must filter out the trivial decisions so you have energy for the important ones. You must create rules that decide for you. You must automate the mundane. You must delegate the routine. You must eliminate the unnecessary. This is how you free up mental space. This is how you preserve decision-making capacity for what matters. The mechanism is decision fatigue. Every decision you make depletes a limited resource. This is not a metaphor. It is biological. Your brain uses glucose to make decisions. Every decision consumes a little bit. The more decisions you make, the less glucose you have. The less glucose you have, the worse your decisions get. You make impulsive decisions. You make avoidant decisions. You make bad decisions. You make no decisions. You are running on empty. This is why you are exhausted at the end of the day. This is why you make poor choices at night. This is why you eat junk food. This is why you procrastinate. You have no decision-making energy left. Think about the most successful people you know. They wear the same thing every day. They eat the same breakfast every day. They have a routine. They are not boring. They are efficient. They are conserving their decision-making energy for the things that matter. Barack Obama wore only gray or blue suits. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt. They understood that choosing what to wear is a trivial decision. It does not matter, but it consumes energy. It consumes glucose. It depletes your decision-making capacity. They eliminated it. They automated it. They made it irrelevant. The application is simple. You need to reduce your decision load. You need to standardize the routine decisions. You need to make them automatic. You need to remove them from your conscious mind. Here is how you apply the decision filter principle. First, you eliminate decisions. What decisions can you remove entirely? Do you need to choose what to wear? Create a uniform. Do you need to choose what to eat for breakfast? Eat the same thing every day. Do you need to choose when to exercise? Schedule it at the same time every day. Eliminate the choice. Second, you automate decisions. What decisions can be made in advance? Plan your meals for the week. Plan your outfits for the week. Plan your workout schedule for the week. Make the decisions once and never think about them again. Third, you delegate decisions. What decisions can someone else make for you? Hire a virtual assistant. Use a meal delivery service. Delegate the tasks that don't require your unique expertise. Fourth, you defer decisions. What decisions don't need to be made right now? Put them in your system. Schedule a time to make them. Don't make them in the heat of the moment. Make them when you have the energy. Apply this today. Look at your day. What decisions are you making that are unnecessary? What decisions are draining you? What decisions can you eliminate, automate, delegate, or defer? Make a list. Take action. You will free up massive amounts of mental energy. Decide once, then stop deciding. The 70% rule. You don't need perfect information to make a decision. You need enough information. You need good enough. This is the 70% rule. It states that when you have 70% of the information you need, you make the decision. You don't wait for 80%. You don't wait for 90%. You certainly don't wait for 100%. You act at 70%. This is the rule of high performers. This is the rule of the decisive. The mechanism is the law of diminishing returns. The first 50% of information takes 20% of the time. The next 20% of information takes 30% of the time. The next 10% of information takes 50% of the time. The final 10% of information takes 80% of the time. You are spending your most valuable resource, time, to get marginal improvements in information. This is a terrible investment. You are better off making a decision at 70% and adjusting as you go. You are better off getting into the game and learning from the results. I worked with a product manager who was paralyzed. He was launching a new feature. He wanted it to be perfect. He wanted all the data. He wanted all the research. He wanted all the testing. He spent 6 months in planning. His competitors launched similar features. They captured the market. He was too late. His feature was better. It was more polished. It was more refined. Nobody cared. The market had moved on. He learned the hard way that perfect is the enemy of good enough. He learned that speed is a competitive advantage. He learned that you can adjust a moving car. You cannot start a car that is parked. The application is to set a decision deadline. For every major decision, you give yourself a deadline. You gather the necessary information. You reach 70% confidence. Then you decide. You act. You adjust. You don't wait. You don't agonize. You don't second guess. You trust the process. You trust yourself. Here is the protocol for applying the 70% rule. First, you define the decision. What exactly are you deciding? Be specific. Write it down. This clarifies your thinking. It prevents you from deciding on something that isn't the real issue. Second, you identify the key information. What do you actually need to know? Not everything, just the key pieces. What are the critical assumptions? What are the deal breakers? What are the non-negotiables? Third, you gather the information. You do the research. You ask the experts. You consult the data. You do this quickly. You don't dwell. You don't overanalyze. You gather what you need and you move on. Fourth, you assess your confidence. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? If you are at 7 or above, you act. If you are below 7, you gather more information. But you don't let yourself stay below 7 for long. You set a time limit. Fifth, you make the decision. You choose. You commit. You don't look back. You don't second guess. You act. Sixth, you evaluate and adjust. You monitor the results. You gather feedback. You adjust course. This is the continuous improvement loop. You don't need to be perfect on the first try. You need to be moving. Apply this today. Think of a decision you have been avoiding. Apply the 70% rule. Gather the information. Set a deadline. Make the decision. You will feel liberated. You will be moving. The two-path decision framework. Some decisions are reversible. Some decisions are not. This is the most important distinction you can make. The two-path decision framework states that you categorize every decision as either reversible or irreversible. You treat them differently. You apply different rules. This is how you avoid paralysis. This is how you take smart risks. The mechanism is the cost of failure. A reversible decision has a low cost of failure. If you are wrong, you can change your mind. You can undo it. You can recover. The cost is small. The cost of inaction is often larger. You should make these decisions quickly. You should err on the side of action. An irreversible decision has a high cost of failure. If you are wrong, you are stuck. You cannot undo it. You cannot recover easily. The cost is large. You should make these decisions slowly. You should err on the side of caution. Think about the difference between renting an apartment and buying a house. Renting is reversible. You sign a lease. If you don't like it, You leave at the end of the lease. You can change your mind. The cost is limited. Buying a house is irreversible. You commit to a mortgage. You commit to a location. You commit to a community. If you don't like it, you are stuck. The cost is enormous. You should be more cautious when buying a house. You should spend more time researching. You should be more confident before you commit. Think about the difference between hiring an employee and hiring a contractor. Hiring a contractor is reversible. You bring them on for a project. If it doesn't work out, you don't renew the contract. The cost is limited. Hiring an employee is irreversible. You commit to salary. You commit to benefits. You commit to training. If it doesn't work out, you have to fire them. You have to pay severance. You have to deal with the legal implications. The cost is enormous. You should be more cautious when hiring an employee. You should interview more. You should check references. You should be more confident before you make the offer. Here is how you apply the two-path decision framework. First, you categorize the decision. Is it reversible or irreversible? What is the cost of being wrong? What is the cost of inaction? This assessment is critical. It determines your approach. Second, for reversible decisions, you move fast. You act quickly. You experiment. You test. You learn. You are comfortable being wrong. You are looking for data. You are looking for feedback. You are iterating. You are improving. Speed is your priority. Third, for irreversible decisions, you move slowly. You take your time. You research. You deliberate. You consult experts. You gather all the information you need. You make sure you are right. You are not comfortable being wrong. You are avoiding costly mistakes. Accuracy is your priority. Fourth, you revisit your categorization. Is the decision truly irreversible? Often we overestimate the cost of failure. Often we treat reversible decisions as irreversible. This is a form of risk aversion. This is a form of paralysis. Challenge your assumptions. Is it really that costly to be wrong? Or are you just scared? Apply this today. Look at your pending decisions. Categorize them. Move fast on the reversible ones. Move slowly on the irreversible ones. You will be more decisive. You will be more effective. You will be more successful. The gut check. You have intuition. You have a gut feeling. You have a sixth sense. It is not magic. It is pattern recognition. It is experience. It is wisdom. It is your subconscious processing information faster than your conscious mind. You need to trust it. You need to listen to it. You need to use it. This is the gut check. It is a powerful decision-making tool, but it must be calibrated. It must be used correctly. The mechanism is unconscious processing. Your brain is constantly processing information. It is connecting patterns. It is making associations. It is evaluating outcomes. It does this below the surface of your awareness. It does this faster than your conscious mind. When you have a gut feeling, it is your brain telling you something. It is giving you a summary. It is giving you a conclusion. It is often right. It is often more accurate than your conscious analysis. However, there is a caveat. Your gut is only reliable in domains where you have experience. It is only reliable in domains where you have feedback. If you are a doctor, your gut is reliable for diagnosing patients. You have seen thousands of patients. You have seen the patterns. You have received feedback on your diagnoses. Your gut is a product of that experience. If you are a pilot, your gut is reliable for flying planes. You have logged thousands of hours. You have handled emergencies. You have received feedback on your decisions. Your gut is a product of that experience. If you are a novice, your gut is not reliable. You don't have the pattern recognition. You don't have the experience. You don't have the feedback. You should not trust your gut. You should rely on data. You should rely on experts. You should rely on analysis. Here is the protocol for the gut check. First, you identify your level of expertise. Are you an expert in this domain? Have you made similar decisions before? Have you received feedback on your decisions? If so, your gut is reliable. If not, your gut is unreliable. Second, you separate emotion from intuition. Is your gut feeling based on fear? Based on anxiety? Based on excitement? These are emotions. They are not intuition. They are clouding your judgment. You need to distinguish between the two. Intuition is calm. It is clear. It is confident. Emotion is chaotic. It is loud. It is urgent. Third, you use your gut as a tiebreaker. When you have done your analysis, when you have gathered the data, when you have weighed the options, when you are still undecided, you consult your gut. You go with the option that feels right. This is the integration of analysis and intuition. This is the optimal decision-making system. Fourth, you test your gut. You make the decision. You evaluate the outcome. You learn from the feedback. This is how you calibrate your gut. This is how you build pattern recognition. This is how you become more intuitive. Apply this today. Think of a decision you need to make. Ask yourself, am I an expert in this domain? Is my gut feeling calm or emotional? Use your gut as a tiebreaker. Trust yourself, but verify. You will make better decisions. The decision audit. You cannot improve what you don't measure. You need to audit your decisions. You need to look at your track record. You need to learn from your successes and failures. This is the decision audit. It is the practice of reviewing your decisions. It is the practice of extracting lessons. It is the practice of continuous improvement. Here is how you conduct the decision audit. Step 1. You capture your decisions. You write down every major decision you make. You record the context. You record the options. You record the rationale. This is your decision diary. It is your record. It is your data. Step 2. You evaluate the outcomes. You look at the results. Did the decision work? Did it produce the expected outcome? What were the unintended consequences? Be honest. Be objective. The goal is learning, not self-justification. Step 3. You identify the patterns. What decisions worked well? What decisions failed? What were the common factors? Were you too slow? Were you too fast? Were you too cautious? Were you too reckless? This is where you learn. This is where you improve. Step 4. You adjust your approach. You take the lessons. You apply them. You refine your decision-making process. You make better decisions. You avoid the same mistakes. This is the continuous improvement loop. Apply this today. Start a decision diary. Write down your decisions. Review them weekly. Extract the lessons. You will become a better decision maker. You will achieve better results. The Decision Framework Summary. Here is a summary of the entire chapter. This is the decision framework. It is a simple, actionable system. It is not complicated. It is not theoretical. It is practical. It is tested. It works. 1. The Decision Filter Principle. Eliminate trivial decisions. Automate routine decisions. Delegate unimportant decisions. Defer decisions that don't need to be made now. Preserve your decision-making energy for what matters. 2. The 70% Rule. Make decisions when you have 70% of the information. Don't wait for perfect information. Don't wait for complete certainty. Act. Adjust. Iterate. 3. The Two-Path Decision Framework. Categorize decisions as reversible or irreversible. Move fast on reversible decisions. Move slowly on irreversible decisions. Challenge your assumptions about the cost of failure. 4. The Gut Check. Trust your intuition when you are an expert. Separate emotion from intuition. Use your gut as a tiebreaker. Calibrate your gut through feedback. 5. The Decision Audit. Capture your decisions. Evaluate the outcomes. Identify patterns. Adjust your approach. Learn from your successes and failures. The Inversion Principle. Sometimes the best way to make a decision is to invert it. This is the inversion principle. It states that you look at the problem backwards. You ask the opposite question. You consider the worst-case scenario. This is how you find the hidden variables. This is how you avoid the blind spots. This is how you make better decisions. The mechanism is cognitive bias. We are biased toward optimism. We are biased toward our own judgment. We are biased toward our current course of action. We ignore the risks. We ignore the downsides. We ignore the alternatives. We are blind to the negative. Inversion corrects for this. It forces you to consider the opposite. It forces you to see the risks. It forces you to consider the alternatives. It gives you a more balanced view. Think about a major investment decision. You are considering buying a company. You are excited about the potential. You see all the upside. You see the growth. You see the synergies. You are ready to say yes. Now invert it. Ask yourself, why should I not buy this company? What could go wrong? What are the hidden risks? What are the integration challenges? What is the worst-case scenario? This is how you see the full picture. This is how you avoid costly mistakes. Here is how you apply the inversion principle. First, you define the decision. What are you deciding? What is the goal? What is the desired outcome? This is your starting point. Second, you ask the inverted question. What would cause this decision to fail? What would make it a disaster? What would make you regret it? Be thorough. Be honest. This is not pessimism. This is preparation. Third, you evaluate the risks. How likely are the negative outcomes? How severe would they be? Can you mitigate them? Can you prevent them? This is your risk assessment. Fourth, you weigh the pros and cons. You look at the upside. You look at the downside. You make an informed decision. This is the balanced approach. This is the rational approach. Apply this today. Think of a decision you are facing. Invert it. Ask the hard questions. See the risks. Make a better decision. Action exercises. 1. Conduct a decision audit. For the next week, write down every major decision you make. Record the context, the options, and the rationale. At the end of the week, review your decisions. What patterns do you see? What lessons can you learn? 2. Apply the decision filter. List every routine decision you make in a typical day. Which ones can you eliminate? Which ones can you automate? Which ones can you delegate? Which ones can you defer? Create a plan to reduce your decision load. 3. Practice the 70% rule. Think of a decision you have been avoiding. Set a deadline to make the decision. Gather the information you need. Act when you reach 70% confidence. Do not wait for perfection. Move. 4. Categorize your pending decisions. List your pending decisions. Categorize each one as reversible or irreversible. Move fast on the reversible ones. Move slowly on the irreversible ones. Challenge your assumptions. 5. Practice the gut check. Think of a decision you need to make. Ask yourself, am I an expert in this domain? Is my gut feeling calm or emotional? Use your gut as a tiebreaker. Trust yourself. 6. Apply the inversion principle. Think of a major decision you are facing. Ask yourself, what could go wrong? What would make this decision a disaster? Identify the risks. Evaluate them. Make a better decision. 7. Start a decision diary. Get a notebook. Dedicate it to your decisions. Write down every major decision. Capture the context, the options, the rationale, and the outcome. Review it regularly. Extract the lessons. Become a better decision maker. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. Theodore Roosevelt.